Do you ever feel like you don't have time to be introspective? Do you ever feel like you are always doing something for somebody else and not getting round to doing the things that you want to be doing, especially thinking about what your next best step is in your career transition? If you are having a hard time to generating that space where you can be introspective, then this clip is for you. What we will be doing is we will be looking at why it is so difficult for us to connect back to who we are, generate that time to be by ourselves in our thoughts, in our plans, creating those action plans and goals, dreaming about what it is that we want to be doing, and then giving you 5 tips on how you can connect back to that most sacred part of us that is the guiding force for us, and really the baseline, the building blocks for us to connect to our career flow. So if you're ready, hit that like button or that subscribe button, and we are ready to roll. Hi there, my name is Petra, and I am the founder of the flowstyler.com career coaching. And these video clips, these vlogs, are for women who don't just want to find any kind of job, but who really want to find their purpose-led career in this lifetime. So one of the first tips is knowing yourself. Now, we many times think that we do know ourselves. However, on my journey, what I realized is that even though I thought I knew myself, I still wasn't really connected to myself. And I had that nagging feeling all the time that something wasn't quite right. I was working in a legal field, and from the outside, I was doing really well. I'd passed my law degree. I had gotten myself into law school, and I was working at the solicitors, but I wasn't happy. So understanding who we are, so what does this mean? It means that we know what we want. We know what our beliefs are compared to somebody else. We understand what our values are as well. And we are actualizing those beliefs and those values in our everyday life. And we are able to differentiate what other people's opinions are, what society's opinions are, and then honing that back, bringing it back, and actually living our lives based on what we believe, but also understanding what our limiting beliefs are that might be hindering us from moving forward in our search of our purpose-led career. So why is it that many times we are not connected or to ourselves, not know what we want and who we are? Well, throughout our lives, of course, we will have firstly at home been conditioned to listen to other people's agendas. And this obviously goes on at school, at university, and then in the workplace as well, the employers' agendas for us. And if we don't think about if that agenda works with who we want to be, who we are, then we are actually using our time, our precious time, to actualize somebody else's dream for us. And now, if we haven't been encouraged to listen to our intuition, if we haven't been encouraged to be individuals, but instead to conform, then why would we understand what our true self is? So it's only in those times when we have maybe made a stand to say, oh, actually, I don't want to be doing this, and we've started to work towards understanding who we are, that we really have started to connect to that space within us. However, when we live in this busy world, we sometimes forget to generate that space for ourselves to connect back to who we are and what it is that we want to be doing. And it's never too late to start honing that connection back, to start connecting to what your true self is. And one of the warning signs, I guess, of not being connected to yourself can be your own unhappiness, and unhappiness, let's say, in your career as well. But when we start to generate that space, open up that space, where we go into, where we can connect back to who we are, then we can start to ask those questions again. Those questions like, what do I want? Who do I want to become? What kind of change do I want to make in this world? And and also, what breaks my heart? And what can I do about that? And how can I then, in return, once I've figured it out, help others um, to in this particular problem? So, tip number 2 is connecting back to who you are. How do we do that? So connecting back isn't a given, especially if your life is busy and you are doing lots of things. You're at work, you've got family commitments, you've got friends commitments. Then generating a habit around generating time for yourself is vitally important. So my question for you is: do you make the time for yourself currently on a daily basis or on a weekly basis to be introspective? Because it all starts inside. And when you make the time to generate that space, you are able to start to connect to really the basis, the building blocks of who you are and what your career flow blueprint is. So when could you set aside some time for yourself if you are not at this point doing so? Or if you are already, how could you expand that time? And tip number 3 is that when we do generate the time to be introspective, it comes in a specific form, and you need to find the best form for you, where you can hear your inner voice. Now, being introspective doesn't include people. It really does include just yourself. There's no alcohol involved, no drugs, no dogs, no children. They will all need to be arranged to be taken care of by somebody else in that moment. And it might maybe seem like this is a thing that you cannot do. Many times there behind that there is some form of limiting belief, maybe the belief that this is not something that you should be doing or could be doing or are allowed to do. But I can assure you that once you are doing this introspection, whatever format that comes for you in the end, everybody else will benefit from it, because you will be happier and therefore you are able to give more of yourself to the world. Tip number 4 is that you need to make an appointment around this, especially if you feel like this is something that is very difficult for you to generate this time. Then you need to start to get into the habit of thinking that this appointment with yourself is as important as going to the dentist or meeting with your boss, or going to sleep. Arianna Huffington, for example, always talks about sleep appointments and how important sleep is for her, and she makes it an appointment in her diary. So you too can make being by yourself, being introspective, connecting back to who you are and what you want, a important appointment for yourself. Tip number 5 is start small and do something interesting. Now, the end effect of your introspection process should be something that where you are actually just thinking about your career goals and what it is that you want to be doing, with your diary by your side so you can jot notes. Now, to, if you find that daunting, because in that silent space, our mind can become incredibly active as well. So sometimes this can start to seem like a rumination session instead of a positive dreaming session. So we need to be careful of those thoughts as well, that we align them to something positive, our dreams, and to help us to in a way get to the stage where you can be by yourself, with your dreams. Doing something that interests you in that moment might be a way to calm the mind and connect back to what makes you feel good. So, for example, I at some point tried to read history books in this space, and obviously because I wasn't really that interested in doing something with history, becoming a history teacher, for example, it really didn't help me to connect to myself. So I had to put away that history book and instead take an art book, which I really enjoyed reading, or looking at the pictures themselves. So doing something that you can do in that moment. Now, this could also be nature, being in nature. Now, of course, in nature, there's more distraction. However, it primes you, it prepares you for that kind of introspection time in your own space as well, going for a long walk by yourself, and musing, thinking about what it is that you want to do, or actually not thinking at all, because sometimes we need to also calm our minds first to be able then to dream about, or allow the essence of us to come through. Same thing with meditation, for example. Meditation calms our mind, and then we are able to connect back to ourselves, and in a way back to our baseline, and then come up with better ideas for ways to move forward. So thank you very much for watching this little clip. Leave a comment if there is something you would like me to discuss in these new vlogs. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful month. Bye now.